What is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys are feeling good, and I hope you guys are ready for J-Pal Day because we got the man, the myth, the legend coming in today, but he cannot be as legendary as we got Albert in the house. Good morning to Amy. Good morning, Andy, Bill, Fabrice. Good morning, Greg G, Greg Linder. Jay Linder, Joe. Good morning to JT, Lawrence, Liza. Good morning. We got Lauren in the house. Lucian, Martino, Nancy, Ron, Sebastian, Wynn, Wally. Ooh, the squadron is piling in. Good morning to Jennifer Level in YouTube land. And for all the other lurkers in YouTube, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. I still love you guys regardless. But any comments, just feel free to throw that into the chat. Let's see what's going on with the SPY this morning. So SPY, we do have a little bit of a gap up. We talked about this. So I was on 4 to 5 yesterday. We were looking at some of the structural moves from yesterday, and it was pretty wild. It led me to a little bit of a bullish conclusion. Can that change today? Possibly. We'll see. We do have, like I said, Jerome Powell coming out 2:30 today. If he doesn't go too hawkish in the market, or if he's not too bearish in the market and he's not saying anything too crazy, I think this market has some room to fly. That was a very good, almost double bottom. We came down, we retested some crucial VPOCs. Bulls were there all day yesterday, and today we are getting that little bit of a gap up. So I'm loving where this market gap up is too. The main spot I want to see us hold, and we still got 27 minutes till the open, but 443.90 is a very, very good location. If we can stay above there, the next immediate resistance doesn't come into 446.16. And then again, if we do have some Jerome Powell, I'd like to see us get through 446.77. And we're essentially wide open until 448.26 and then back up to 450. So we do have some decent ranges. We're still inside, well, not inside, but as we did dip down below, put in a little bear trap yesterday. But this one candle from the 15th has major volume on it. So that was a gap and go. We sold all day. We're not really going to get the clearance that we're pushing out higher until obviously that candle gets cleared. Any of those bears in there are either already taking profits or starting to lose their positions, making them freak out a little bit more. And that will help to push us up higher. So there is still going to be some resistance in here, but I am leaning a little bit more bullish today. Technically, with all the buying that came in, let's even flip this over to a 15-minute chart. All of that buying came in starting essentially from 12:45 and just kept on buying all throughout the rest of the day into the after hours and then up this morning as well. So you do probably have some bulls that will be profitable. Maybe somebody might want to take something off the table, take some profit on this gap up. They were blessed with a higher account value this morning, and maybe they want to lock some of that in heading into the Jerome Powell, but that would be good for us because if we could get a little pullback, that's what I would want to see, somewhere down to that 443.82, and then look for continued just bullishness from that point, at least up until Jerome Powell, and who knows again what's going to happen with that. But I'm still leaning a little bit to the bullish side. And I even think, just looking at some of the charts, I think if the market sells on Jerome Powell, it's going to be a buy the dip opportunities, providing that the selling doesn't get below some of those hammers that we put in yesterday. Q, same thing, a little bit of a gap up into a little bit of resistance right at the open. So not as crazy bullish, but if we get a little bit higher on this one, we have plenty of room up higher. The next stop, I think, would take us to about 373.01. And past that, I mean, there's nothing. That's going to be the major one. 373.01, maybe to 374.11, somewhere in that zone would be an interesting spot if we could go bullish. Again, we are at resistance. See if we get a little bit of a pullback at open, and then I will be looking to try to crush bullish as much as possible. Let me know if you guys got any tickers. Jay does. He's got WDC and pins. But if you guys have anything else, throw those into the chat. Otherwise, we'll just run through some of the stocks that we look at on the daily. So we got Western Digital. Nice little gap up. This one is definitely into resistance. Is this? There's a lot of room to run higher. Yeah, we gotta watch that spot. I think this is gonna be a fade. This is technically a retest gap from yesterday. I would look for probably a fade here. If we start to break $46, we do have tweezer tops up there too. That could give us an issue. 46.32. The real volume is probably somewhere just under $46, 45.92, 45.95, something like that. So somewhere in that zone, I do think there's a little bit of resistance. Pretty nice gap. Again, this is a retest gap. And man, that's bullish. I'm looking at this candle right here. This is a gap and go. Now we're well above that. We did close the gap. Anybody playing this in bullish, yeah, I would definitely be looking at this as my target. So I would assume there's a lot of people hitting targets on this one. I would probably look to fade WDC. Let me make sure this is added to the list. We'll watch this one at open. Get on up there, WDC. WDC to the top for now. Oh, that kind of almost worked. Man, that's annoying. That's annoying. All right. I dragged it all the way up there for nothing. All right, we'll keep it on the list though. We got pins. Let me move some lines. Pin interest. Nice little gap up again. Technically a retest gap. Let me see where that selling came in yesterday though. It was toward the end of the day and it was just slight profit taking. Pins move crazy. CEO was, I believe, at a conference yesterday and he was pumping up pins. We do have a bit of resistance slightly ahead of us, 2770. I think this is one that probably will also fade. So I would love to see this one pump a little bit higher into this 2770 mark. And then I would look to maybe look for some kind of profit taking on this one as well, some kind of pullback short, something like that. But this is definitely a retest gap, and it was getting heavily pumped from CEO yesterday. So we'll see. Boeing we looked at in the afternoon room as well, or not afternoon room, but whatever that room is called before. And you even see how I was looking to play this thing. I like this one a lot. So resistance is going to come in 206.49, but beautiful looking hammer. I think this is pretty overextended in the selling direction. I really only see maybe that we're in wave 3 on this thing. So from a longer term perspective, could be tough. If this entire thing becomes a 1, this is 2, this is out 3, maybe a push to here, 4, 5, double bottom out of here. That's probably what I would look for longer term on this thing. But if we're into wave 4, with that hammer that came in yesterday, nothing too crazy in terms of volume. We are already gapping up past my entry point. So I would love to see this thing pull back a little bit. And then stop somewhere at 202.11. I mean, that's $3.76 of risk. I would put probable targets at 212, 213. Even if we get to 211, that's still a decent 2R trade. So Boeing definitely has to be higher on the list today. Just again, it's not a crazy gap. It is a gap and go. There's been a ton of selling pressure on this thing. Why is my charts not moving? Hold on, let me refresh this. I've noticed sometimes once I refresh, it then just lets me move. There it is. All right, so that's Boeing. But yeah, I would look bullish on this one. It might hit a little bit of a struggle bust, 208.61, but there's still plenty of room on this thing. And I do think probably it gets back to just under 213 would be my target. Otherwise, yeah, I kind of like that one. Pretty decent. Let me get WDC up higher since I was able to refresh. Let's see if it works now. Camo. There you go. All right, the little refresh trick. The next move, I was just going to kick it. I was going to kick it. All right, we got Google with the nice little gap up. I mean, that looks tremendous. Into a low volume area, so not a lot of liquidity there. That means this thing could probably pump till at least 140. If not, we could get to about 141. Technically, again, it is a little bit of a retest gap. We've been consolidating. This is the break. I would love to see this thing pull back, look for like 138.32. And then I got to move this one higher on the list too. Is this all-time highs? No, not all-time highs. So the monthly candle looks bullish. Yeah, that would take us to that 140, 141.86. I mean, I have this 618 on the chart. This is the 1618. So target would be 146.58. It's a good looking gap though. Again, I would like to see a little bit of pullback at open on this thing. But right where this thing is sitting, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a decent push. So we'll see if we get some kind of red candle, maybe on a 3-minute on that one. I might even have to go to pre-market breakout, something like that. AMD. AMD, I like a lot. I was looking at this one, and I was looking at NVIDIA too. We'll pull up NVIDIA. I like AMD down here. This is a great looking double bottom. This is another one we looked at. Technically, this is still inside day, but I'm liking where this thing is opening. So if I could get a little bit higher on the open, so somewhere anywhere above 102.30, there's nothing in the way till at least 103.47. I think that is a level that can be broken, and then that would take us to about 105.32. So again, does that happen today? I don't know. I mean, this is definitely a lot of selling pressure. Every time we've made any type of pump, we've got absolutely smacked down. But this double bottom from the fib we drew yesterday, this is right at that 618. So now you're going to give me a double bottom 618. We got moving averages to come up, save us. And unlike some of the other stocks that are sitting at all-time highs, this is still a nice little longer-term uptrend. This is a good pullback. Very, very good location. We got support of the $100 price tag. So I like AMD a lot, and I'm going to be watching this one. Might even, I was even considering taking out leaps yesterday. I might take out some leaps today on AMD. We'll see what happens. And then I'll just sell out for a loss. Essentially what would pretty much happen. If we get down to anywhere below 99.35, all right, I'll say it's a loss. We'll sit back, maybe even flip the position, because now that 618 should be our resistance, but it is holding fairly well. And if this does want to rotate here, and we're going to be looking at this thing in about a month going, why don't we just buy it? It was close to $100 per share. We got a double bottom right at the 618. Good looking pullback. So yeah, I'm definitely interested. Day trade wise, again, inside day, so it's going to be a little bit tricky. We have one more little VPOC to break, and then there's nothing really holding us back, probably till this 105.46, except for one pause zone of 103.60, 66, something like that. So we will see, but I do like that one in a longer term picture. I do want to stay more bullish than bearish. We definitely have good, clear stops as to where we will be, just like I said, absolutely stopped out on that if it does want to break that. Microsoft is gapping up. This one's a retest gap, a little bit more resistance ahead of us. Pretty much smack in the middle. I would say my targets to the higher side would be about 332.48. To the lower side, I'm looking for some kind of support at 328.20. And right now we're sitting perfectly at 330.20. So you have a good about 1-to-1 risk reward on both sides. I would need this one either to pop up to this 332.45 before I consider going short, or just come down to this 328.34. That would be my long, but it'd be a coin toss at open as to which way it would go. Technically, it's a retest gap. So if this thing wants to pull back a little bit, again, I will be looking for bullish moves today, at least up till 2 o'clock. Then I got to kind of figure out my positions and how I want to maybe hedge something. Otherwise, even after the conference, if he comes out again and he's not as hawkish, I think this market could absolutely run. If he's a little bit hawkish and it's okay, some iffy statements, and we take a dip, I'm going to be looking to buy those dips until we start really breaking out of or breaking down past some of the wicks, and I'll just hold it. But we will see. And maybe I'm just a little more bullish than most. BHC, which is very possible, very likely, and definitely the issue. I don't even know how to say this name. Bausch. La Bouche. That would be quite the abandoned baby. What is the news on this thing? Mm, Jeffries raises, so they had a upgrade. And what is the news on Chewy? 3M cuts target price to 105 from 120. So downside on Jeffries for 3M. AZO has a lot of Davidson raises his target price to 2,500 from 2,425. JP Morgan raises the target. Everybody's raising AZO. I guess we'll have to look at that one too. And then a little bit of a downgrade on Chewy. Okay. Yeah, I don't know too much about this company, to be honest, but with that volume, that amount of selling, we did come in, we hit a good support. Now you're getting the upgrade. Again, into a little bit of resistance, but I feel like that would be a lot of people trapped. BHC. Tons and tons of people trapped on yesterday's candle. Again, I would be highly concerned about some of that resistance. And I'm trying to see if the amount of people trapped will outweigh the resistance on this one. And I just don't know. But if you're already in this thing and you caught that one, that looks good. Until we really break this 872, I think it might get a little choppy for day trade purpose. But if this thing closes a wide open gap, I mean, we haven't really done too much with this one. We've just been kind of chopping since, I would say, May 22nd. I mean, May of 2022. So a full year of chop. Definitely some consolidation. I like that abandoned baby a lot, though. That looks decent. AZO is 3K. AutoZone. It's 2,500. It's 25. They got an upgrade. You got another $520 according to JP Morgan. That sounds pretty good. It does look like a pretty nasty head and shoulders. I mean, yeah, the the price is a little rough on this one. I think this is also pretty spready too. So day trading AutoZone is going to be tough. Chewy makes lows every day. Yep. Every day. I love these downgrades that come in after that's already happened. So now you're sitting at, with the close of yesterday, 1945. This is also technically a gap and go. I don't know if I'd want to play this thing bearish. It's sold a heck of a lot already, but there's nothing in the way of this thing going lower for the Chew Dog. Yep, this one, I mean, since June, it's been cut in half. So down 50% from June. That's not even on the year. That's pretty gross looking. Pretty gross looking. And now, of course, you have the downgrades coming in. That usually does mark the end of the down move, but that's a severe nonstop everyday sells. And yeah, kind of looks gross. Kind of looks gross. But if you do want to play a gap and go bearish, there you go. But that's a lot of selling into it. A lot of selling. That downgrade, hopefully somebody might want to take some profits and head on out. Lock some gains. Let me check out Nvidia. So again, AMD does have a decent amount of room on it. Nvidia yesterday, inside candle. The candle that we're inside of it was just really a retest candle, and we still have resistance on this thing, probably up to 440. I would say 447. Let's go 441. So it does have a little bit more resistance in the way on Nvidia. 449.92, so about 450 would be probably the target if we could break out of 441. That would be the trade. Otherwise, I think we get hit with a little bit of resistance first, and it's not going to make it too easy. But again, if chips start to work again, Nvidia will be the premier choice of chips, and we'll have to see if that could get another bid. Otherwise, you could be looking at this thing going, look, double bottom here. That's holding. This was technically a retest. Now we're double bottoming that. This could look good, building some pressure. But again, I want this thing a little bit higher. Chew is just another COVID stock tumbling. Yeah, I mean, I think they do have some decent customers. I think their business is not horrible, especially if you have a pet. Because if you don't have a pet, I don't know why you would use Chewy, but yeah, I don't know. Well, he wants to take a look at Tesla. Tesla, good gap up. We got one level of resistance that we're at right now, slightly below it. Inside day, I would see if we could get some type of a pullback on this thing, and we might already be getting it pre-market. If we look pre-market, it looks like there was decent hammer that came in on this thing. Right here at 839. 839, and then we also have this monstrosity right here. So this is a little bit more of a high wave. We did break above it. We came back. We retested. So I would think that if we could get somewhere close, we also have the VPOC right here, 267.27. The closer we can get to that, the better. And then having some kind of stop. I don't know where this thing wants to come down to, but maybe stop at like 266.64. You could probably go wider. It is Tesla. 266.30, something like that. That should be decent. I do like it bullish. But we are inside day with one tiny resistance. So my plan on this one would be let this thing come down a tad. It depends on where we open. This is going to be a tough open on this one. If we open up at this 267.60, somewhere in the zone, we do have a good shot of just taking off. And I think 270.80 would be a pretty decent target for today. And then again, if things go crazy, not sure that it will, but 274.42 would be my higher side of this. But yeah, I do want to look bullish. The question is where, and that would depend on where this thing opens. If it opens here, I'm pretty much liking it. Essentially right at the open, go bullish on this thing. If it's opening a little bit lower, 267.50 or lower, I'd want to see us get some kind of a pullback to 266, maybe 13. Maybe we get there and then take off from that. But otherwise looks decent. Let's see. That's it. That's all the tickers we got. Slower day today, but yeah, Google looks good. Boeing looks good. Obviously, there's gonna be some selling pressure on that thing, but that could be the start of a little bit of reversal. Amazon has a nice hammer in there too. Target on this one, not that great, 139.76, but it is inside day, not really gapping outside of that candle yet. Apple, AAPL. We got 6 minutes left. Let's take off some of this. We'll take off this. Take off this. All right. You got a moving average that we rejected yesterday, and then we also have the VPOC. This VPOC was retested yesterday. So that will give it the ability to break through it potentially today. I still think we're going to get some resistance right around 179.52. But I do think it's more likely that this thing could break today on the second attempt up than it did for yesterday. But that was pretty much everybody's target from yesterday. We are just kind of inside day two. Pullback, I really don't want to see too big of a pullback on this thing. So I would like the support of 178.91 to hold. If it doesn't, then I would be looking for probably a pullback into 177.64, something like that. Otherwise, if we could break that one little target, the next one, we don't really have much holding us back for this gap fill. 182.87, so something in that zone. Nice little kind of double bottom S curve. And if we could take this out for today, maybe 181.42. If we pull back a little bit, come back down to this 179.61 and then make that fifth wave into that gap fill. Something like that could make sense, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is a good looking double bottom from slightly longer term, plus this mini double bottom right there. So it's got some support. I would say somewhere around this 174.70 zone, 174.50. And I think no matter what happens to Apple, if we just absolutely crush higher, or if we do want to push lower, that gap probably has to get filled first. So regardless, that would be my pretty strong target, 182.74 on Apple. Win and I, because that's proper English, we were looking at potentially an abandoned baby on Square yesterday. Right now, it's opening perfectly flat right at yesterday's VPOC. Doesn't look like we're going to get that abandoned baby. We need that gap up for that. So that's not really on the table. We have to wait to see what happens on this. PayPal might give us a shot. This one would have to open a little bit higher at the open. Just a tad. So if this one could open up anywhere above 62.43, which we got 4 minutes left, not sure if it's going to have the ability to get there. Otherwise, I'd look for a pullback on PayPal to 62.18, and that would be my spot looking to buy, throwing a stop 61.41, somewhere underneath yesterday's candle. But we would need a little bit more. The market's not going to give it to us. I don't know. All right, we got Coinbase. Coinbase is I'm not sure why I had a bullish entry there. But if that was a bullish entry, that was exactly where we're opening right now. 78.84 and then stop lower. Again, we kind of just came down. We did have a nice little gap up here. None of that really held. We've been getting crushed lower. I think we're going to hit some bigger resistance, probably around, I'll call it $80, but a few pennies below 80. So maybe a little bit of room on Coinbase, nothing too crazy. Disney still looks horrific, although we are holding at least yesterday's VPOC for the moment. This was a retest gap, great looking retest. I think this one's going to want to come down and test this $80.85 again before we know too much more on that one. Roku, that could be a fun looking high wave. Let me check the volume on this one. Gonna have some resistance above us. Decent looking high wave though. We're still inside day on this one. Google, check it now. Check it now. Do it, monkey. Do it. Not as attractive. Not as attractive. I do see Tesla pulling back as well. So again, I do want some pullbacks, but we're going to have a heavy area. I really wanted this 138.25 to hold on the pullback. So I wanted us to open up here, come back down, use this 138.20, whatever, 5 as some kind of support. But right now we're below that. So still able to hold yesterday's VPOC for right now. We're right at it. So if you do like this thing bullish, you're at the spot to buy. But I would give Google a second right now. I wouldn't be the first one to jump in yet. Tesla, though. What do I got? Like a minute left? Tesla on this little pullback, a break of that candle would look decent, I think. Yeah, I like that one a lot. So this current candle coming in right now, I wouldn't mind looking for some kind of a play with entry at 276.65, 267.65. This is bullish. We could see some chop out of the gate because we do have Jerome Powell today. And then maybe stop down here. That would be an interesting concept, at least. But I only got like 12 seconds left. Everybody in YouTube land, appreciate you joining us each and every day. Unfortunately, I do have to end the live stream at this point. You guys are absolutely incredible. And I will look to catch you guys later. Take it easy, guys.